takes his shot, he scores!
Ramsey a shot, he scores! Oh, 'tis the season!
Chick with the miraculous save on Klotz! Oh, brother, we are not worthy!
Daw charging after it, clear right out in front, backhand by Hannon, he scores! Now do you believe? Now do you believe?
Sit back, relax. There's much more where that came from. Hi, I'm Kevin Sylvester. Today you will see and hear the best of over 30 years of Rick Jeanneret calling Buffalo Sabres hockey games. But before we hear from Rick, we'd like to say thanks. Proceeds of the sale of this DVD go to the Buffalo Sabres Foundation, a not-for-profit foundation committed to enhancing the quality of life in Western New York and Southern Ontario. The foundation strives to assist worthwhile organizations that make this region a better place to live and work. For more information, you can read the foundation's mission statement on our website, sabres.com. Now, on with the show. Rick Jeanneret truly is top shelf. He's the longest tenured announcer in the NHL, starting as the Sabres radio voice just 1 year into the team's existence. We'll look back at some of those calls, including the legendary La La and the memorable Mayday. But we'll especially look at Rick's television play-by-play career, which began during the team's final year of play in the Odd. Rick helped transition the franchise from the Odd to the new home, now called HSBC Arena. According to Rick, it's in this building, especially over the past year, that has had the most fun calling the game that he loves. And we've had fun listening to him.
That's knocked away. Another shot, scores! Al Kotelik gunned home the rebound as he sailed up into the corner, and Buffalo leads by 2.
You'll even see people at the games, like Doreen Zimfer, listening to Rick while they watch the action. Doreen's been a season ticket holder since 1988, and she's been listening to Rick since day one. And now, in the words of Rick, roll the highlight film.
No, that was back in Niagara Falls. I was attending a junior game, and something happened to the play-by-play guy, and I was sitting down in the stands. And just before the game, they came down and they said, "Do you know how to do play-by-play? The play-by-play guy's sick." And I said, "No, but I'll take a shot at it if you want." I've been doing it ever since.
Jim Watson over to Van Imp. Van Imp comes to center, flipped it ahead, it bounces over Height's stick. He has to hustle back after it. Height stops in the corner to shake off McLeish. Around it comes to Rick Martin, up ahead for Perreault. Perreault coming to center, dumps it off the boards in the corner. Robert going after it, he scores! Rene Robert! And the Sabres win it again in overtime! Off the boards in the corner, Robert pounded it between the legs of Bernie Perrott.
When I started, of course, we had stick mics. We held stick mics in our hand, and I can remember to this day the late Danny Gallivan, after they made him start wearing a headset, and he resisted. I mean, he didn't want any part of it. He'd spent his whole life with a stick mic as long as he'd been broadcasting hockey games. And I looked down in the Montreal Forum one night, looked down at the other end, and he's holding a pencil in his hand because he thinks that's the stick mic, even though he's got a headset on.
Popping it off to Stanfield. Stanfield in front to Martin. He shoots right on the corner. The Sabres score! Danny Gare! Danny Gare gets a 50th, and the Sabres pile off the bench.
Not only is his voice a great voice, but his inflection is amazing. He seems to rise as the team gets closer to opportunity and scoring opportunities. His vocabulary is amazing.
Spell that one H-U-S-T-L-E. All hustle.
We'd get on the plane, Foligno, myself, we thought we were smart guys. So we'd grab the Buffalo News and we'd be doing the crossword puzzle. And we'd always get in a jam, and on the way onto the plane walking by, RJ would have a book of crossword puzzles. So we'd get in a pickle and we'd take our crossword puzzle up to RJ and get him to fill out the words that were 4 letters and more. And then we'd go back and fill in the 3-letter ones, and we thought we did a good job.
I think his enthusiasm reaches right out through the radio and grabs you in, brings you in.
Well, May and Carrion are all tangled up, and meanwhile, here comes Snow! Snow comes out of the net, starts throwing punches, and here comes Hasek! Hasek going after Snow! Snow came out of the net and started firing punches! He'll be out of the game! Will Hasek be too?
When something good happens on the ice, whether you score a goal or a big fight, it's almost like you'd kind of race to get to the room to replay the tape just to see how Rick, said what was going on and narrated it.
And Ray goes back in there. He wants after Snow. It was Snow, I believe, who nailed him from behind, and there they go again.
It's been mentioned to me by people, people in high places that I shouldn't make fights sound so excited.
Thornton and Verona, and down on the ice they go. Now they all start piling in there. We got a hay-room going.
And I said, well, you don't say anything like that about goals. You don't say anything like that about big saves or big hits. Only about fights.
There's Ray and Bonvie trying to exchange punches. Meanwhile, down on the ice goes Smolik. He tries to get up again, but down is Bonvie as Ray applies the coup de grace.
And if it's bothering you that much, then take fighting out of the game. Don't blame me if they start fighting. I didn't tell them to fight.
Meanwhile, Portick is still wrestling with Ray. Nobody, I believe, has thrown any punches. Down on the ice they go.
Sounds like he was going to have an aneurysm, for God's sakes. I was worried about him sometimes.
Good check. It's leveled by Rasmussen. What a check behind the net, Eric Rasmussen.
Here's Markov hitting the Buffalo low.
Oh, Wally leveled him.
And to add insult to injury, it's offside. Pick it up and bring it back.
RJ did it, and they do it before the game and stuff. I know now sometimes. So sometimes I'll be in the tunnel and I'll hear it and just give a little chuckle.
More than almost any even overtime goal I've seen, and they're all huge, that one had an electricity to it that charged up the entire arena. And I thought Ricky really nailed that one.
I don't know where he gets his energy.
And now Stone Shields, and here they go! Now coming across the ice was May! Snow and Shields, the linesman, trying to get them apart, and they want to go! Here they go! Shields firing punches at Carl Snow! They're having it right in front of the bench! Shields and Snow going at it! And everybody else is grappling, and this crowd is going bananas!
The way he screams and uses his voice, that doesn't come easy. I mean, you wake up in the morning, you feel like a tuning fork. Not him.
Warner took the shot! Warner guns that one and shatters the glass in behind the net! That'll teach the goal judge for turning the red light on when he shouldn't have.
I've had fun broadcasting hockey games since the day I started. And the day I can't have fun, I'm hanging them up. It's all over. And if it takes wearing a wig.
Hi, everybody. This is Rick Jeanneret along with Jim Lorenz. Danny Gare will be along shortly.
Whatever it takes to be a part of it, of having fun, then I'll do it.
You can see these Buffalo Sabres will be taking on the Florida Panthers. 86 degrees in Florida, South Florida today. This is the third meeting of this regular season between the Buffalo Sabres and the Boston Bruins. It's been a rough night for sheep and lambs.
Whoa! Well, I always knew that you had gone to the dogs, and now I know it for sure.
Suspenders actually happened when I had a hernia operation. After I got out of the hospital, I had difficulty wearing a belt. I mean, I just didn't want to feel anything tight around my waist or anything like that. And so the doctor suggested that I try suspenders for a little while, just until things healed up and I can get back to a belt again. My wife went out and bought me a pair of suspenders. It was the first pair of suspenders that Cupcake bought me, but not the last pair. And after I started to wear them, I found them very comfortable. I've been wearing them ever since.
Look at these babies right here. I told you the other night these were hot suspenders. These are the ones that my granddaughter, 3 years old, made.
They sparkle like your smile.
They've got the sparkles. Watch out, I'll get a sparkle on you. What are you laughing at?
Believe me, kids, the Easter Bunny does not look like this. but you do look sort of cute, I must admit.
Thank you very much. This is Rick O. Jeanneret with Jim O. Lorenz and Dennis O. Williams, and happy St. Patty's Day to you. Now we got to stand up.
There we go. Well, you're a better dancer, so you can.
You want me to do the Macarena?
You
I haven't got
Go
time.
ahead.
I haven't got time. I'm going to drop the puck, because otherwise I'd do it right now.
I think one of the things that he taught me was we're in the entertainment business, and I think all too often broadcasters take themselves too seriously.
Hello, everybody. This is Rudy Jeanneret, along with Jim Lorenz and Dennis Williams here in New Jersey.
National Hockey League, Rick Jeanneret and Jim Lorenz with the call of Sabres hockey on the Empire Sports Network.
Oh, look at this. I was a quick change artist in between periods. Went back to, look at this. Isn't there something? The folks at Tuxedo Junction really looked after us, didn't
Boy,
they?
I'll say, have you got one for the third period, too? Maybe you better surprise us, eh?
In my bag of tricks?
In your bag of tricks.
I don't know. I'll have to take
You've
a look
got
in
that
there.
cane you can wave around. Maybe you could create something.
Quite frankly, partner, while I was running around with my personal haberdasher getting changed and everything, I have no idea what you're going to do now between periods.
Well, we thought we would take a look at the goal by Brian Holsinger.
Rick Jeanneret.
Around, but not out.
La Fontaine. La Fontaine.
It's fun to hear holy macro.
And a whack, and another whack.
And he scores! I can't do it like he does it.
Becca's got a breakaway. Becca walking right in, score! Michael Becca, top shelf where Mama hides the cookies.
My mom, God bless her, is still very much around, and she never hid the cookies on me, but she certainly limited the number I could have.
Got it in front, the shot scores! Randy Burridge, top shelf where Mama hides the cookies.
It's a call that actually I had heard way, way, way back when.
Back to Plant again, backhand, forehand scores! Derek Plant, top shelf where Mama hides the cookies.
And I've forgotten all about it for years and years. And then I was working with Larry Playfair on radio one night, and he referenced it, and I thought, well, it's time to dust that baby off.
There's another shot, they score! Maxim up and again off, top shelf where Mama hides the cookies.
My son Daniel, he's a huge Sabres fan, as I am, and we happen to, whenever the Sabres are, Dad, the Sabres are playing, we got to listen to Rick Jeanneret. And to this day, all the kids on our hockey team, when they score top shelf, it's, top shelf where Mama hides the cookies.
His passion for the game and the fact that he knows it, he understands, and he sees plays developing, so he knows where the pass could go.
Vanek getting it over the line, looking for the trailer.
And so you can hear the inflection in his voice as the pass goes where he's anticipating it, and then maybe the pass back.
Vanek hanging onto the puck, gives it to Roy, to Vanek, to Roy.
And he can build up in his voice what's about to happen because he understands how a goal could be scored, or a great save.
Pick it up and fire it to center ice, and a breakaway. Who's Hashik coming to the net? And he checks Brian Savage and knocks it away from him. Lindros getting it in front, a backhand in front. Hashik with a miraculous save on Klotz. Do you believe? Oh, brother, we are not worthy. Dominic Hasek does it again. And as a result, it remains 1-1. This man's body is bigger than a goal net. Now a chance for San Jose, fired in front. Oh, Shields sprawls and makes the save. And they're trying to clear it in front. By the backhand. What a save by Miller. You want Miller time? You're on way out of the net and got trapped out there as he bumps in the corner. Here it is in front of the net. Oh, you're on. An incredible save. He robbed him. Call a cop. He robbed Elmore blind. Call a cop. I don't believe it. Deflected in front of the net. Backhand. And Biron makes the save. Marty Biron straight up like a snow angel.
I remember back home, like 10, 15, almost like 20 years ago. I remember I was a young teenager. I would watch the plays of the week on RDS or whatnot, stationed back home, and they'd always show a LaFontaine goal or a McGillney goal at the time when the Sabres were just electrifying, and Rick Jeanneret would always be in the background. They would show a bunch of goals, and they will always end with a LaFontaine goal where Rick Jeanneret would, go with his
LaFontaine
Rick was play-by-play, obviously. I was the color guy, and we had Barry Butel, and we had this little booth and box in the old auditorium. There wasn't a lot of room. I had papers everywhere, and Rick just had the lineup. And I remember real succinctly when Pat LaFontaine was traded here, and I'll never forget this story because Patty came in his first game, and you know, he had an assist, I think, in the first period, and everybody was kind of excited that Patty was there. And then in the second period, he scored his first goal as a Sabre. And Rick got up, he stood up like this, put his arms like this against Barry and myself, like, shut up, don't say anything. Like, it was, I've never seen him do this before. And then the next thing that came out of his mouth was, la 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 la. I almost fell out of the box. I mean, he planned it so well, and that call is, you know, has been famous ever since.
I heard it the night after I scored the goal, and I remember the guys telling me that you got to hear this.
That one just came, that popped up. I mean, I didn't think about that whatsoever. However, it might have been an extension of when Pierre Turgeon played in Buffalo. And I used to say, ooh la la, Pierre. Maybe that was the seed that was planted, but it just popped out when Patty scored his first goal against Hartford, and I still remember it very, very well.
I'll be walking on the street. I won't even be in Buffalo. I'll be in Long Island or somewhere else. And I'll hear someone in the background going, la 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 la, you know, LaFontaine. And so it's amazing the weight that his voice carries. In many ways, I look back at my career and even now you see a highlight or you hear something, it doesn't seem right unless you hear Rick Jeanneret calling that goal.
LaFontaine, the "'Tis the Season" one was always a good one.
Well, 'tis the season, fa la 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 Fontaine.
There's just calls where you wonder, was he sitting at home? Did he have this? You know, and I've asked him. I said, "Come on, RJ, you got that one sitting on a piece of paper, and you're just waiting for the right moment." And you know, he swears that they're all instantaneous, and to come up with some of the calls that he does come up with, there are some that are heartfelt. There are some that make you laugh, but there are no bad ones.
Nick took his shot. Score! Stu Barnes deflects it in overtime.
Stu, actually, I think it was him that gave me the idea one day, and because I heard a youngster talking to him and saying Stu, but he was trying to get his attention, and I kind of thought, yeah, I might try that one. So we dragged it out.
Stu Barnes.
When Malarchuk was playing in Buffalo, and Howard Chuck and Andrew Chuck, I was just praying for the day that Clint Malarchuk would get the puck up to Andrew Chuck and Howard Chuck so I could give it here a Chuck, there a Chuck, everywhere a Chuck, and it never happened. It just never, ever happened.
I think it was Halloween night we were playing, and you know, he was talking about the boogeyman being out, talking about Bob Boughner.
Looking in front of that. How about that? The boogeyman.
His name's Bob Boughner. I mean, what else are you going to call him? To me, that just made sense.
Ripping it over the line. Backhand, they score! Paul Singer! Barnes drops it back to Chatan. Quickly shot, score! Somebody find a fire hydrant. Put this guy out. He is red hot. Shannon holds it in. Right on rebound. Straight in front. Another whack at it. They all jam at it. They score! Matt He's on the ice now for Buffalo, looking for the pass and gets it. And again, couldn't get the shot away. Now he does. He scores! Holy mackerel! Roll the highlight film. Maxima Binakenov. What a move! Connolly cutting through center, hitting the Edmonton line, busts through the defense, shoots one, scores! Oh my goodness! Did I use that phrase somewhere? Roll the highlight film. Sabres are changing as Numanen's pass goes to Connolly. Connolly drags it around the outside. Connolly back and scores! Oh my! You're going to want to look at that one again and again and again. Tim Connolly turned himself into a corkscrew.
He loves it, of course, when the Sabres score a goal. And I always peek a glance at him, and he's halfway out of his chair when he says they score. His face is bright red. I think he's going to burst, blood vessels all over the place. And there's this look of pure joy in his eyes and on his face, and that always stays with me, and I just love it when he does that.
That slides in over the line. That took his shot.
And then the next goal that was a lot of fun to be around was Dave Hannon's backhand to win that game in 4 overtimes. And Patty LaFontaine was in the booth with us. And it was a long night, 4 overtimes, and RJ keeps, and again, if you listen to that game, his voice got a little bit tired, but who's wouldn't after 7 or 8 periods? And when the goal went in, he kind of, well, there was a couple of times he turned to us, and it was like we just said, because there was great saves and whatnot. And Patty or I would give him like a one-word answer, like wow or awesome or something. And he's going, that's the best you can do. What he was looking for us to do was come up with some filler time to say some stuff so he can catch his breath and have a drink of water or something. And we were like 2 fans, Patty and I, watching this silly hockey game, listening to RJ tell us what was going on. And it was, and then when the goal went in, it was awesome.
Can't get it to Presley, gets it again. Daw charging after it, cleared it right out in front. Backhand by Hannon, he scores! Dave Hannon! Dave Hannon is mobbed by his teammates. Dave Hannon finally put away the backhand, and this series is going back to where Jimmy Hoffa is, back to the Meadowlands in New Jersey.
That was a reach. That was really a reach. I was trying to think of something else to say, and I just came up with that. A series is going back to where Jimmy Hoffa's buried. I don't even know he's buried there or not. They just said he was buried in the Meadowlands. Somebody told me that somewhere along the line. They still haven't found him. I know that.
That was a pretty special night for myself, but also for my teammates in Buffalo. It was a great night.
It up to LaFontaine, he gets tripped up, gets it to May, and over the line, here's May going in on goal, he shoots, he throws! Mayday! 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 Brad May wins it in overtime! The Sabres bomb out onto the ice to Bob Brad May! Buffalo sweeps the Bruins!
I remember that call, Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. How do you spell second round? I mean, it was like, where the heck did he come with that?
And I've been asked about that numerous times, and people said, did you plan on it? Did you plan on using the Mayday call? And I think Brad May had gone something like 18 games without scoring a goal. Now, I'm going to pick Brad May and come up with something and plan on something. He, of all people, who hadn't scored in forever, in the biggest game to the Buffalo Sabres playoff run up until then? No, absolutely not. That one just was another one that just popped out.
And you hear RJ as Brad beats Bork.
Bring it up to LaFontaine, he gets tripped up, gets it to May, and over the line, here's May!
RJ's voice goes up because he's anticipating something, because that was Ray Bork that Brad just beat.
Going in!
Randy came around, Deke Ray Bork out of his skates and Andy Mook out of his, you know what, and just put it in the net.
And then the fans helped as well, but it was the Mayday, 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 and the place was going bananas.
It's my ringtone on my cell phone right now, so I just love it. You know that he came up with that.
He's forever given me a nickname, so I'm indebted to Rick.
Oh, now do you believe?
I think one of the moments that stick in my mind was against the Ottawa Senators last season when Jason Pominville scored the goal.
Pominville into Ottawa territory. Pominville goes around Alfredson, cuts in front, scores! Jason Pominville, short-handed. Oh, now do you believe? Now do you believe? These guys are good, scary good.
And he came up with the line, now do you believe? Now do you believe? I mean, every time I hear it, it gives me goosebumps.
To be able to hear it after and hear how crazy you went, it was great to see. And I mean, all the guys got a laugh at it. It was really enjoyable.
For him to come up with that, these guys are good, scary good. When we watched that game, I remember, as exciting as the goal was, that made it. I mean, it made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. It really did.
I can tell you that it kind of fit in with Now Do You Believe, because I think maybe it goes back, though, to the start of the season when absolutely nobody picked the Buffalo Sabres to make the playoffs. And then all of a sudden, in the playoffs, everybody started to say, hey, this club's not so bad after all. And last year's team provided so many great moments, and particularly the way the team played the entire way. At the end of the season, when they finally lost in Carolina, I went down to the dressing room and I saw every emotion in there. I saw the resignation, I saw the tears, saw the anger and everything, and I just walked around the room and shook hands with every player that I could see and congratulated them for a great season and told them that it was the best year of my life, and it was, as far as hockey was concerned. Absolutely. Slam dunk. Forget about going to the finals in the 2 years. That was wonderful. This was wonderful.
Quick shot, deflects in front, they score! Thomas Vanek is there to shovel it home. Do you believe Buffalo wins another one in overtime?
Well, Rick Jeanneret, the one I remember all the time is Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. That was, I guess that's one of the most famous calls of all time with Foster Hewitt. He shoots, he scores. What do you think?
Well, and a little LaFontaine. I can't do it quite the way Rick does it. You know, the one I remember for some stupid reason is when they knocked out Philadelphia. They were a great team, and Buffalo was just coming into their own there with Pekka Hasek leading the way. And he says, you could knock me over with a feather when they won the series. He was so good on the radio that night.
Knocked me over the feather.
Well, it was a simple thing, but it's like last year was scary good. These guys are good.
Oh, yeah. Well, Jim Lorenz said to him, remember with the bat?
Yeah.
Remember the Batman. You forgot about that one. Anyhow, Rick Jeanneret, Mayday, Mayday. What a great guy, and he does a great job.
We have Bob Cole. We have a lot of legendary play-by-play announcers, but there's only one guy to truly generate excitement.
His voice is synonymous with the passion all of us from Western New York feel about our Sabres and professional hockey. I just love to hear his voice, particularly when it's a goal for the Sabres. Rick, thanks for all you do and all you will continue to do until the Sabres win the Stanley Cup.